Oh, I am so happy to have you on this show. What a pleasure.
Me too. Excited to connect.
Absolutely. So, we are streaming live on Instagram and LinkedIn. I know all the things, Pabel, all the things behind the scenes that no one knows happens until we show up and like, oh, wow, look at this. They did it.
It's like magic.
It's very magical. So, what were we talking about? We're talking about different ways to stream our podcast and live or not live, and trying to figure out as entrepreneurs and podcasters how it all works. And you gave me this, and I wrote it down. You gave me this fabulous idea to use Twitch. Never heard of it.
It's what I do. Keep folks young and on their toes. But yeah, Twitch is the biggest. People are surprised when I say Twitch is the biggest live streaming platform in the world, but it is. I think other apps try to build the behavior of live into their platform, but it's
Right.
not a natural way that people are accustomed to consuming content on the platform, right?
Right.
Like, but Twitch, it's the only way. Like, that is how they were born. They were born as a live streaming platform, so people automatically are just accustomed to that behavior. Now, it started as a gaming platform, but as anything, it starts as one thing, but people see the technology and they're just like, oh, maybe I could do this and that. But there's a big study with me community on there, and there's a big co-working stream community on there. So like, I just started doing co-working streams.
That's so cool. So the co-working streams would work as like a space. Like I was looking into a space the other day, so I
Hmm.
can actually go into and work with a whole bunch of other people. So it's like a remote, office. So you mingle and you have your own office, and there's different rooms to do meetings and all. Is that what it is?
Yes, minus the different rooms. It's like a digital office where I'm playing some good vibes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the comment section, people are interacting, so they're networking and meeting different professionals that most likely look like them. And yeah, I have timers so that we can focus and take a break. You know what I mean?
Right.
And during the break time, I'm interacting with the users and talking about different things. But when we focus, we focus. And you'll see people. I have a task list that's programmed to sort of like take in everyone's things that people are working on, and we're keeping each other accountable. We're like, yo, you put that up an hour ago. You still working on that? Like, yo, that was up from last week. Like, yo, you finished that? So it's a way to keep us accountable in this world where even if you have coworkers, most of the time maybe they don't even look like you, so you still feel alone. Maybe this is an opportunity to like finally not feel alone.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I like that, so we can thread to not feeling alone. Today we will discuss how empathy can transform relationships and share some helpful techniques with everyone here that's listening, and how empathy is really a fundamental component of effective dialogues. And it's really crucial in creating and maintaining those strong relationships. And we were just discussing that. I think it's really important that those relationships, co working spaces are maintained, but through empathy. And for those of you who want a more elaborate understanding of what empathy really is, it's really the ability to understand and share the feelings and experiences of others. But before we jump in, I want everyone to know who you are, what you do, how they can reach you, and then we'll jump right back in.
Yeah, so my name is Pabel Martinez. I'm the founder and CEO of a company called Plural, and what we're launching in May is an AI powered self discovery coach. We're hoping to make mental health resources more accessible, approachable, so that you can finally stop faking it at work. I feel like we spend so much time trying to be the version of ourselves that other people want us to be. So hopefully I can help you figure out who you truly are.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, I wish you a big congratulations on the launch, and let us know how it goes.
Thank you. Yeah. Excited for it.
Yeah, I'm excited for you. That is awesome. When we think of all these and we're doing it right now, it's, appreciating the other person, giving the other person accolades. I think dialogues are really a way to deepen existing relationships and forging new ones, but being able to bridge the gap, and also to be able to put ourselves in somebody else's shoes. So it allows for better connection with our emotions and theirs, and to understand their perspective. So when we're having this conversation right now, I like to call them dialogues. It's really about, you know, not just connecting, but how can we forge a really good, deep relationship here? And empathy, right, creates a safe space, and it's really supportive in maintaining an open dialogue. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree. When I first launched this company, I started with a podcast because I think that so many experiences that often happen in the workplace often go like untold. In fact, like if you look up any studies around the workplace experience, especially for people of color, they're full of anonymous quotes. It's like black executive said, Latino said, and I'm just like, why is everybody anonymous? What happens when they're anonymous? Like one, people don't believe you. People don't believe that these experiences happen. But I think two, I think we miss an opportunity to create that empathy, create that bridge. So when I launched this podcast called Quien Tú Eres, where every week we have a different person join us to talk about the conflict that they've experienced between professionalism and authenticity, you'd be shocked by the number of people that reach out to me and they're like, oh shit, like I learned something from this through the storytelling. And what
Right.
they're essentially saying is like, oh shit, I now have empathy for someone else because I know what they're going through. Why? Because we, for the first time, maybe finally open to talking about some of our experiences publicly. So I think one of the best ways to create that empathy is to publicly talk about very personal experiences because it's an educational tool. Our stories are educational tools.
Absolutely. And I think it also helps bridge the gap to show, it doesn't really show, but it imparts a sense of humanity. We're human and we're people at the end of the day. And when we share a story, like you said, it bridges the gap, and it makes it more relatable to what somebody else is going through.
Exactly. Relatability. It's a huge thing. I think because these stories and experiences often go untold,
Right.
what happens is that we think that we're the only ones going through it, right? And when we feel alone, we feel like we're the problem. We're not the problem though, right? Like if we would just realize that millions of other people are going through very similar experiences, it normalizes it and it makes us feel human for the first time. It's kind of like when I was in therapy, my therapist was like, Pavel, let me stop right there. Like, do you think you're my only client? I was like, what? I was like, do you think I could pay my bills with just you as my client? And I was like, no, impossible. She was like, yeah, exactly. Like, what do you think I talk to my other clients about? Same shit I'm talking to you about. You know what I mean? She didn't say it like that, but
Right.
it was the first time where I was like, oh shit. Yeah, I'm human. Everyone else is going through very similar things.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it validates when we absolutely do that. I think it validates also who we are and how we show up in spaces, right? So now we're feeling more authentic, and we show up in spaces being ourselves, knowing that everybody else is also going through something. So I think also what happens is that it fosters trust, and it builds intimacy, emotional intimacy, showing that we care about the other person's well-being and to also value their thoughts and feelings.
100%. I agree. It creates, it like changes the culture completely.
Right.
And I think that's a very important thing to call out is that, any change, whether it be corporate, outside of corporate, political, it all starts with one person.
Right.
Right. But we often don't want to be that first person to do it. Right. We want someone else to do it for us. But I think we got to be the representation that we wish we had when we were younger. You know what I mean? So
Right.
we got to step up. It's scary. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. But that's what I'm trying to do.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things we need to focus on also is, when we jump into the techniques of empathy, what would you think would be a technique? I know what surfaces for me is eye contact. I think what's really important, and it's really hard to do on camera, but when you're in a space with someone and you want to give them this undivided attention, eye contact also makes a very, very big difference because it actually lets the person know that you are focusing solely on them and their story.
That's I like that. I like that. I think, going along with that theme, I think it's just like listening intently. Going back to storytelling, I'm not a big reader, but when I do read, it is biographies, autobiographies. Like I'm not into fiction. I
Right.
really love being able to like walk in somebody's shoes, as they say.
Right.
Even in the shows that I watch. So I'm really big into just like, I just think humans are so fascinating. Like, we could live in the same building, same everything, yet we're gonna have two different, completely different perspectives of life. And I just think there's so many unique perspectives out there. And without getting to know each other, hence having conversation, listening, seeing a movie about somebody else, but just like engulfing yourself in someone else's experience, like you'll only have your own perspective, right? So yeah, just like expanding the types of things that you listen to outside of the day to day. But yeah, when having conversations, like actually listening.
Absolutely. I would have to agree with you. I think listening has many facets. When we listen, it's really to not allow any other distractions come in way of listening, and also to be able to suspend any judgments and biases and questions that are surfacing at the moment so that you can really absorb what the other person is saying. And listening also involves observing their nonverbal body cues because there's so many right, there's so many cues that we have that we display that might not match what we're saying. So someone walks into a space and then their back is hunched over, or their arms are crossed. Maybe it gives you a big sense of what they're going through at the moment. And empathy is really being able to reach where they are at and to understand, oh, how are you feeling today? Are you okay? I are you comfortable? Is there is there something going on in your life? I think when we think of empathy, it's really being able to go down to everybody's level, not really, not down, but reach everybody where they are at.
Yeah, I mean, I think also, before at least this is me, it's kind of like put your mask on first. If the plane is going down, put your mask on first. I think before we can even be empathetic, we need to be self-aware. Because I think it's troubling, maybe not the right word, but to think that we can, because one thing is being empathetic is just like being aware of, having enough social awareness to understand what people are going through to maybe approach someone differently if they're going through something else, right? I think the next level is like, I could be aware. Oh, you still there? Screen went
I
black.
am.
Okay.
Yeah.
One thing is being aware. Your screen went black though.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Oh, I think on
Should
my
I?
end it was okay. Thanks for letting
Oh,
me know.
okay. Should I keep talking? Oh, she dropped. Am I still live? I don't know if I can even tell if I'm live. It says I'm in the show though. What?
Oh, here we are. I
Oh, we're
it
back.
Yeah, we're back. Internet went down.
Oh no.
It did.
Um. Oh no.
But thank you for keeping it together.
Yeah, no worries. What I was saying is that I think there's a different level of being like empathetic. Empathetic
Right.
is here. The next level of support is like, I don't know, being a friend or like helping people through that difficult time. And I think oftentimes we feel the pressure to like be here, but maybe we don't
Right.
have the space or the mental capacity to be here. Maybe
Right.
we just need to understand.
Right.
So like, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I got a bunch of friends that come to me with different things. I don't know if I just got a face or a personality where it's like, let me tell all my problems to Bell, but I don't have the capacity to be there for everybody. And I think we need to have enough self awareness to be like, oh shit, you know what? This week, this month, I can only be there for myself. Maybe next month I got you. But I don't think everybody needs to be a caregiver. Let's call it an emotional caregiver. I think starting at just like understanding is helpful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's imperative, because when you think of yourself, we think of empathy for others, but we need to have empathy for ourselves and give ourselves the space. And I think I sent you a message where, as creators, sometimes we just need to let go, right, of all the noise. I'm probably paraphrasing, but I need to let go of all the chatter and go in my quiet space so that I can regenerate what I'm here to do as a servant leader, right?
Yeah.
So we need to
Yeah.
step back and reflect, whatever that means for anybody, but disconnect from the phone and, social media, and just completely remove yourself from everything to fill your cup. And it goes back to what you said. If your cup is not full, then you cannot be a caregiver to everybody,
That
because
part.
number one, it takes time. It's valuable time that we have to give for other things that we need to do, and we have to create boundaries,
That
right?
part. And also that, yeah, like that's not our job. Like that's why there are trained professionals to do all those kind of things. Yeah. So I think there's a big push, especially in corporate, to like be that emotional caregiver for like everybody.
Right.
You you don't have to.
Right. And it's when we go back to the techniques, it's really interesting when we think of, how we bridge the gap. So we talked about the eye contact, and we talked about allowing others to express themselves,
Yeah.
without, right, interrupting, and creating a safe space. And the third one would be really interesting before we close off. It's about the silence. I think the silence is really difficult, right? You're shaking your head, is very difficult for a lot of people, because you think you need to fill the silence with words and a thought or a solution, as opposed to pausing and having no words to say, no questions, no advice, and to know that it's okay.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, I think silence gives the other person the opportunity, the full opportunity and space to express all the things that they want or feel the need to express. If you're filling that silence with unneeded or unwarranted words, then just like you're not really helping that other person be there. A question that I often ask after silence is, because I'm just assuming that's sort of like some sort of venting process or some sort of communication around what's happening. I like to ask, what do you need to hear from me right now? Or another one that I ask, if I'm closer to this person, is like, what version of Pavel do you want right now? Like, do you want the tough love version, or do you need some like affirming words version? Like, what version do you really need? Because I think oftentimes we just assume what the other person needs, but we rarely ask what the other person needs, and it might be met with more silence as they think about it. Yeah, give them time to think about it. But I think those are some good questions that I typically ask.
Oh, you just dropped some gems. Please repeat that, because I'm going to use that with my daughter when I pick her up in 2 hours.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you. Yeah. What version of mom do you need right now? And also, what would you? Damn, nah, I forgot. What would you want to hear? Like, what do you need to hear from me to feel better?
Right.
And
What?
maybe you can't tell them that, but at least you'll know.
Yeah. And like you said, because she's only 9. So,
Hmm.
like you said, she just might be silent, and I have to let her ponder
Hmm.
on what I said, because this is going to be a question that she's probably never heard from me before, because I come out in different versions all the time, and I don't know which one. I don't know
Yeah.
which one she likes and doesn't like. I just read the body language. I'm like, oh, that shouldn't have been said. Let me try it another way and
Hmm.
reach her where she's at. But I love those questions. Those are questions that I am going to continue living by, because I think that really puts us in the other person's, it meets it, we allow ourselves to meet that person where they are at,
Yeah.
and they can respond in a way that they're comfortable, or not, or choose not to respond while they're pondering on it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been working for me, so I'm excited for you to use it.
Absolutely. I love it. I want to offer up a key takeaway. When we think about empathy, it cannot be overstated when transforming relationships, right? So, empathy allows us to understand and connect with others on a deeper level, whether it's personal or in professional settings. So, this is where we can create bonds and have, more fulfilling relationships by actively listening, putting ourselves in their shoes, like you said, and validating their emotions. So if you need more information about mastering the art of active listening, please go to the Dialogic Approach on Spotify and Apple, where you can listen to day 2 and part 1 of our mini-sode. And each and every one of our mini-sodes can be consumed in less than 10 minutes. Pabel, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure.
It was my pleasure. Thank you for having me.